this video, I'm going to talk about why I stopped binge eating. Not how I stopped binge eating, but why. There's a difference. So I spent probably over 10 years binge eating on and off. It started when I was about 20. And I really at times felt like I had no control over myself, over my eating habits, and it just put me in a place of feeling really depressed and anxious and really horrible about myself. You know, I did the whole thing that a lot of people do. It's like you try to eat well during the week, and then, you know, you find yourself binging. Or so for me, it was not only a lack of, it was not only deprivation, but it was also an emotional, filling an emotional void for myself. And, you know, this lasted for many, many years, just this pattern that I had. And at times I thought that I could control it through just exercising and distracting myself and eating well, right? Getting really into fitness and all that kind of thing. But it led me down a path of just really dysfunctional eating patterns. So, you know, this video is not to give you my whole history on it, but it's to basically explain why I stopped. Why I just suddenly stopped. It just went away when I was about in my 30s, actually, in my 30s. Like, it always kind of like, it would get better, and then I'd have periods where it would pop up again, and it would be really bad for a little while. But it's completely stopped. Why? Not how, but why? Well, two things. I was honest with myself, and forgiveness. I forgave myself. See, a lot of us don't forgive ourselves when we beat ourselves up, right? I did that for many years. It's like, oh, I screwed up, or, you know, I messed up. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be food. It could be anything in your life where you feel like you've let yourself down in a particular way, right? So I learned to forgive that. Forgive myself for not being perfect all the time. Because after all, human beings cannot be perfect. So once you understand that there really is no such thing as perfection in this world, then that is where you can start to shift yourself, right? We have this idea that we need to hold to our schedule, and everything has to go our way. And if we slip up or something takes a detour, we freak out, right? We put ourselves down. We don't blame, I mean, sometimes we blame other people, but we also blame ourselves. We blame ourselves for failing. This self-failure. And it leads to things like, I don't know, just self-deprivation and just disgust and guilt and shame and all these feelings that we have, all these negative emotions. And what happens? It becomes a pattern. It becomes a pattern. We actually memorize it, right? It gets imprinted in our brain. And we think this is how we're supposed to be. This is how we're supposed to react when something doesn't go our way, or something falls off the pattern or goes off course, right? So that was number one. Number two was honesty, being honest with myself, and realizing that, okay, this wasn't just gonna go away unless I started to shift something within me, until I started to go deeper with myself and discover things about myself. The things on the outside, how I'm behaving, is not going to change unless I change. Unless I change how I'm reacting, or how I am, you know, taking in these emotions, how I'm dealing with these emotions, how I'm dealing with life, So, you know, a lot of times we're not honest with ourselves. We shove things under the carpet. We pretend like it doesn't exist. We say, okay, either it's normal, or we don't have an issue. Like there's nothing wrong. Like, or we kid ourselves and we say, okay, I'll just pick it back up on Monday, and, you know, I'll change. But we never do any kind of inner work. We never explore our emotions, these negative emotions, and why we're behaving the way we're behaving. and why we feel like we're reaching for things outside of us to fill a void inside of us. Why we're not happy, right? Because essentially it comes down to certain emotions. It's not about food, it's not about money, it's not about material possessions, it's not about a person, right, making you happy. It's about you making yourself happy and understanding what is the void you're trying to fulfill for yourself. So for me, it was a lot with identity, with sexual identity. It was a lot with hiding secrets from myself, from other people, from not being who I truly was. It was about authenticity. So, if you're living a life and you're not authentic to who you are, and you're repressing emotion, you're repressing things, then you're going to try to find things outside of you to fill that void. So, rather than give you a bunch of techniques, superficial techniques for overcoming something like binge eating habits, right? I want you to think a little bit and shift how you are perceiving yourself in this world. You could try all the modalities, you could try all the fixes, you could try all the diets, you could take all the advice of everybody else, but if you're not willing to change or explore yourself inside and what you're actually missing, then nothing outside of you will change. It could change temporarily, but then you're going to revert back to those old patterns until you dig deeper within yourself, until you forgive yourself for screwing up, or until you realize that it's not screwing up. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as screwing up. There's only lessons learned. There's no good or bad in this world, essentially. It's just we put labels on things and we believe them as truth. So, forgiveness and honesty with yourself. Honesty. Admit to yourself that you are only looking for, superficial fixes, or you're not willing to seek help from other people to help guide you in this. So that's all I got for today, guys. So have a great day, and I will see you on tomorrow's